Hello and welcome back, everyone. Flavor Friday. Today we are going to be taking a look at Majapahit, the flavor, in the upcoming game with the codename Project Caesar. They are a very strong Indonesian nation. As far as I could tell, they are the Indonesian nation with the absolute most flavor. They're one we almost played. They seem kind of inclined a little bit towards trade based on our superficial looking at it when we were considering playing them when we had access to the game, and so it'll be a lot of fun to kind of look through this today. Without further ado, let's start reading in. Hello and welcome one more Friday to Tinto Flavor. And now Pavia hits us with this again. And again, I'm not sure how to judge it. And maybe you guys have some insight into this. You see, Pavia does not like wishing us a happy Friday with a capitalized happy because, well, it's a holiday, so it should be capitalized, but he doesn't like doing it. But on the flip side, the Friday is just. The Friday brings the happy. It is the herald of happiness. And truly, if we should welcome anything, it should not be the reader. It should not be the viewer. But instead, it should be the Friday. The Friday that is both happy and flavor. And so, I'm uncertain how to respond to this. It feels like he's trying to get out of capitalizing happy, but at the same time, perhaps this is the most just and honorable sort of greeting one can have. I don't know. The happy days in which we take a look at the flavor content of Europa Universalis 5. Now, we've known for a long time, the codename is Project Caesar, but they've been trying to conceal information from us. This is just a psyop. The name of the game is not Europa Universalis 5. You know, they have all this, like, presser release stuff, and I know we kind of bring this up every time, and we show the press release stuff, and we're like, hey, you know, but the important thing is that this is a subterfuge. This is, in fact, an attempt to hide the true name of the game, which is an anagram of this, which is voila, naive pursuers. That is, in fact, the true name of the game, a far more reasonable name for the game. But with that in mind, let's continue on. Today we will take a look at Majapahit's flavor content. Let's start without further ado, and a do we've had, so do not do anymore. One thing I hate is when YouTubers go without further ado, and then they immediately afterwards are like, a word from our sponsor, and you're just like, oh. All right, because that is the most prototypical version of a do is, in fact, a word from a sponsor. King Raiden Wijaya Rajasa, get ready for a lot of mispronunciations, established a powerful kingdom of Majapahit across the coast of Indonesia. After his death, King Jayan Rajasa assumed the royal duties, proving to be an ineffective leader. That's unfortunate, as his rule was plagued with many internal and external strifes, as well as open rebellions which contested royal authority. Fortunately, his assassination, Jesus Christ. Fortunately, King Jayangada's assassination in 1328 left the reins of the country in the capable hands of Queen Tribhuwana Rajasa as Queen Regent for her son, Crown Prince Hayan Wuruk Rajasa. The start of her regency marked the beginning of a new era for the people of Majapahit, under the watchful eye and capable eye of Gajah Mada, who currently serves as the Mahapati vice regent. It has become apparent under the rule of such capable individuals, the future is bright for them and their subjects. This might truly be the beginning of a golden age for Majapahit. So we will see that we mainly have Javanese people as our sort of cultural demographic, which is always nice to have primary. This is going to have, you're generally going to have higher satisfaction. This is something that's a little bit more subtle. And we also are of the Hinduism religion. I really do think the Eastern religions have got some very, very strong bonuses as it relates to research, and those tend to be things that you really value quite a lot. And Hinduism, depending on your sect, I forget what it's called, you are going to have some of those that give you a lot of research. But okay, we have Majapahit, and I do believe they start out with a couple subjects. Yes, here it is. Starting diplomatic status of Majapahit with all of its subjects. And you start out with subjects over here, subjects here. And I think that the way you're going to look at it in terms of control and growth and all these types of things is you fundamentally, in the long term, will have three kind of power-base-ish locations. And that is going to be the Sunda Islands here, Borneo, and these islands here. Apologies if I got these names wrong. And the reason for this is that control propagates across water well, but market access does not. And so you're probably going to want to have a market for each one of these. And it is with that in mind, you're probably going to create a sort of mini power base around that market. And so you're probably going to actually have a slightly different play style where you push the control to market centers that are, on each of these islands, and then you build in those regions rather than radiating outward more and more and more from your capital. You're instead going to have to radiate outward from very smaller markets, I think, in order to have quite a lot of market access, because pushing market access over the seas is generally not that effective. Although this could get certainly something that can be changed, and I would not be surprised if it's changed just in terms of what we've seen. For our estates, we do see that we start with what looks like a unique reform, government reform, and some, we see this is going to be, it has different names. It's like Yanban Navy for Korea, and I almost called it that, but it's almost certainly not called that. But it is a naval noble-oriented thing. We start out with a lot of privileges for the Brahmins, as well as the burghers here. A lot of the key and important ones are given out to the burghers as well. Development speed, I think, is this one. This is like building construction. I think this is another good one, but that's going to be quite nice because we won't lose legitimacy in the opener, really handing out a lot of privileges that we want to hand out. Probably still hand out a couple to the peasants, and notably, if we take a look at satisfaction, boy, does it start pretty high in the starting condition. I assume that taxes haven't been adjusted yet, but I feel like this is higher than what we normally see. Maybe it's all the privileges, but okay. It also has to do with everyone being one culture, one religion. This helps out as well. But continuing on here, we see the office of Majapahit, which is going to be possible government reforms, +1, antagonism change modifier, +0.02. This is policy of administrative system law. So, is this a government policy, or is it a... Was this a government reform, or is it a law? I think it's a law. Possible government reforms, +1. I think this is really strong. Government reforms tend to be strong. But the thing with government reforms is you don't have access to a whole lot that are good early on. And so the value of a government reform kind of scales. I think early on at Game Start, there's only a couple good ones, but then as you start getting into it, you'll get more and more. And we also probably have some unique government reforms that are going to be pretty solid. And speaking of the Majapahit starts with the Gajah Mada as the head of the cabinet from the start. 80, 80, 90. That's pretty strong. You do prefer, I think, more polarized people in general, but that's going to be solid. He's going to be good at most anything. Now let's take a look at the advances. We get the Jong, which is a unique light ship. Now, generally speaking, access to light ships, your first light ship, for most people, the generic light ship, is at the very bottom of the Renaissance tree in the... I think it's in the administrative section and not the diplo section, but I'm not 100% sure. But that means for most countries, you cannot get a light ship very early, and so getting maritime control very early is going to be difficult because this is your primary source of that. Well, if we start out with a tech that gives us access to Jongs, independent of how good the Jong is, this is going to mean that we can get maritime presence a bit earlier. I don't have the numbers of the base light ship memorized, so I can't really say what the strong differences are between the two, but just the presence of having one earlier is going to be substantive. We have the Bubu and Jala, which is unlocked in Age of Traditions. That's kind of an important thing to note. Anytime something's Age of Traditions, it will be pretty solid or you generally will start with the tech. But okay, we have the building, or this is the tech. The Bubu is going to give us a fish output plus 15%. That's a pretty nice modifier. Fish are, generally speaking, kind of a weak industry, though. But a plus 15% modifier is going to be quite nice. I don't know if fish get used as an input for anything. I don't think that they do, but if they did, that would be quite nice. Generally, the problem with exporting fish or specializing in fish is that the base price of fish is 1. If I recall correctly. And so even when you collapse the price of fish and you could push a lot of exports to someone who has expensive fish, let's say you bring the price of fish down to 0.5 and you're exporting it to someone's market who's 1.5, the margin between those two is still only 1. And so it's really hard to get really good opportunities off the back of it. But what this does mean is that you can urbanize very aggressively in Majapahit and still have local food production be quite high. I think is maybe more the outcome that you are receiving is that you don't have to worry as much about food access as a consequence of over-urbanizing, because urbanizing crushes over your ability to build as many RGOs. If those RGOs are food, you can't build as many. And so in this way, you will get more food access for yourself, I think is kind of more the way to look at it, rather than like kind of a trade advantage type of thing. We also see the Kabang ship unlocked in the Age of Traditions. This is a transport ship. Don't have the transport ship numbers memorized, so can't quite really say if this is, in what ways this is maybe better or not. I assume it's going to be better. Interestingly, we do see -1 sailor here. We don't see minus any sailors here for the Zhong, and I'm wondering if the Zhong just has lower upkeep, if that is the benefit of them relative to the other light ship. That would be a bit interesting. We see the Bajang Ratu Gate, which is available in Age of Renaissance, so you're going to have to build it yourself because you won't start with it. It is a government building. It employs 500 clergymen. That's quite a lot of clergy. A lot of the clergy buildings employ like 50 guys. And a lot of the burger buildings employ like 250, so this is almost like the equivalent of 2,500 burgers in terms of normal employment rates, so a little bit interesting. It's going to be going up in the capital, and if the capital has a lot of income, which it generally will, this will give a bit of power to the clergy, which is going to be, I guess, fine enough. Where the power is going is not the hyper most important thing to micromanage, because the bonuses aren't contingent on power, but we do see that this is going to give us Tolerance of the True Faith and monthly prestige. Now, Tolerance of the True Faith, incredible modifier, really great for satisfaction, and we do see a little bit of a UI update here. We see a UI update in the sense that I believe this might be town, this might be rural, town, city here. So instead of having the banner that is 1, 2, 3, which is not what is represented on the minimap, and these are the icons which are represented on the minimap, if I recall correctly, we are going to have a little bit of a unified update in terms of representation in the UI, which is going to be quite nice. So, yep, I do believe this is, yeah, I think that this is rural, or is it the other way? This is town, this is, or sorry, rural, town, city. I can't recall anymore, but this is going to be nice, a little bit of a different representation. So it just has to be in your capital, but it doesn't require a particular level of urbanization. The star does mean that it is capital, though. Okay. We see the late Karambit Warriors, which are going to be in infantry. I really liked it when Pavia for a while was, before he went on vacation, he was giving the differences between the units whenever he showed the units, because without the context of looking at another unit, it can be a little bit difficult to really understand what the difference between these two units is, unless you have it memorized. I'm trying to see here if, yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like the combat speed might be a little bit different, but I'm not sure what's going to be there. I think that maybe the movement speed is faster. This could be it. If my understanding of Karambit as like a warrior is correct, I believe they were lightly armored. Yeah, armored with rudimentary armor in their trademark blade. These warriors rely on mastering speed, ferocity, and fluid movement. So I assume combat speed is maybe a little bit higher than normal. Something like that. We see the Maritime Silk Road, 2.5% trade efficiency. This is an Age of Discovery. 2.5%, that's generally a lot for this modifier to be receiving, so that is going to be quite nice to be getting. We do see the Maduris Gali, which is going to be... Wow, that sounds like galley. Is that what it is? Okay, but it's going to be a ship. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to give in terms of differential, but it is going to be the galley type. Which I do believe, you know, raises some alarm bells, like those outside, the car alarm. Except we're using a sound gate, so you might not even hear the car alarm. The people that populate the strait have come to serve in our navy. Their navy prowess and great shipbuilding skills have given rise to a new kind of vessel, the Maduriskali, a large ship. It is useful for offense and voyage adjacent tasks, as soon be the backbone of our fleet. I do believe that in all of Indonesia it is galley terrain, and so you would prefer to have galleys to heavy ships. As you can see, Majapahit is quite a maritime power. Yes, we can. And now let's take a look at the narrative content for Majapahit, which is a bunch of interesting events. We are going to see the Gajah Mada and the Queen starting out. It is a move that has been mocked by political rivals. Gajah Mada has proclaimed his office oath to cease the consumption of luxurious substances and the enjoyment of culture and entertainment until successfully subjugates the entirety of Indonesia. Our armies are moved by such a display of conviction that they feel confident to follow this great person to the ends of the earth. He did have 90 military, so I guess that kind of gives you an idea of his role historically. But we do see that he gets this modifier forever: army morale, siege ability, and discipline. Man, he's going to make a nice commander. Morale and discipline are quite strong. Same with siege ability, so he's going to be quite good. And we do see this Nagarakacha, however this is pronounced. This is I'm not even sure what this tonal is supposed to do, the dot under the R. The need to affirm our commitment to the religious roots of our kingdom has given rise to many literary works that praise the architecture of our temples, as well as our intricate, illustrious ceremonies. None other than Mapu Prapanka has stepped forth and volunteered to pen a beautiful eulogy. Yikes. A poem to honor the very essence of the people under the guidance of our queen. Isn't a eulogy a death? The queen die? Okay, well, I guess the former king died, and that's why the queen is queen regent. We get some works of art created in 1337. It is a poem. We get the rise of Crown Prince Hayyan Wuruk Rajasa at the cusp of the Golden Era and the joyous prestige that shines from our powerful position across Indonesia and many of our subjects. A glimmer of immortality in the history book shines upon the face of Crown Prince Hayyan Wuruk Rajasa. That glimmer is none other than his own heir, who has shown great promise. And as he has excelled in every aspect of his education. A peaceful transfer of power would undoubtedly reinforce our stability as well. And also, I mean, like, at the beginning of the game, it's kind of an important inflection point or time for stability. I think that's probably when stability is the most valuable. There's things that you want to invest, stab into. Generally, it's a little bit hard to get it. You're not necessarily in a position to max out stability investment, and generally speaking, the Black Plague is a drain on your stab, so all of these combined do make stab kind of something you're more interested in. That doesn't seem like a person of great ability. 11, 9, 19. Man, that'd be great if it was EU4, but that's out of 100, my guys. But we do see he becomes king, and we get 20 stab, and he gets... Okay, he gains plus 60 ability. That's still 21, 19, 39. So not the best. Not the best at all. Note, Hayyan Wuruk will usually give much better stats. I would hope so. I command force the date, so he's a 16-year-old and can reign, but he would regularly develop his skills during childhood. Okay, so he's... Okay. That's a good note. That's an important note. We did it for the screenshot. He's not actually that bad. Hayyan Wuruk may be a key ruler of Majapahit for the player, as he was in real life. However, his death may trigger a disaster for the country, as it has historically happened. Now, since a lot of the disasters do seem, to some extent, locked behind having low stability or legitimacy, you probably don't want to do anything too stab crazy until after this guy dies and you make sure everything's okay, because you want to avoid the disasters. One of the greatest rulers in history of the kingdom of Majapahit, King Hayyan Wuruk Rajasa, has passed away. Whispers in the dark and amongst our subjects have given way to demands of autonomy at the face of our waning authority. At such a pivotal moment, we must exert strength and keep up our neighbors as well as our people in line. We do see this is a disaster, of course. A loyalty of subjects minus 20. There's a Diplo interaction you can do that gives them plus 20 loyalty or something like this, thereabouts. And we get expected diplomatic spending plus 10%, so that pressures your ability to use that interaction. But if you're not annexing them and you're not going to war, the loyalty isn't too important unless they make them a lot more... aggressive against you with low loyalty. But this is not the only curveball that Majapahit may come to face, as an old friend, as a old friend is, oh no wait, it is an old friend. My brain was auto-completing to enemy, because surely an enemy would be a curveball, but not a friend, unless he's not a very good friend. The Majapahit kingdom is in its death throes. Once the center of a vast network of vassal and tributary states, Majapahit now has little power beyond Trowulan. Merchants are increasingly visiting our Sunni rivals, and the religion is slowly entrenched itself in the north of Java. Worse, internal struggles over succession threaten to tear the remnants of our kingdom apart from the inside. Surely this is supposed to be... Oh, is this an old friend in terms of a country that is starting in EU4? I don't know why this is called a friend. Okay. We get the decline of Majapahit, which is going to give negative pop conversion speed and minus power projection. If you have low power projection, other people can mess with you a bit more in terms of like being able to build in your country and colonize you. And if you have high, it is the reverse. Okay. And country is a Sunni dominance value of 0.5 or less, so I'm guessing we have to convert to some extent, or something like this. We do see that we get a nice little kind of thing with this, and we see, okay, we have to get this bar handled. We can restrict Pernican trading rights, ban conversion of Adipatis, and control the Burrs, convert to Islam. Alright. As you can see, the main topic for the disaster is the struggle between the expansion of Islam and adherence to Hinduism and other beliefs in Indonesia. What's stronger between Islam and Hinduism? It's kind of an interesting question. I want to say Hinduism, but I really would need to see them next to each other. Islam is probably better early on, though, because being able to push stab up is pretty valuable, but I think Hinduism overall, over the course of an entire game, will give more value. Both disasters have dozens of events that trigger while they're active, by the way, but let's now focus on another old friend, which comes with an event chain. A hero emerges. Damar Wulan Ardi. Oh, is this maybe an old friend because this is present in EU5? Oh, what is this? We were supposed to be listening to the EU4 OST, or the EU5 OST, while we're doing this. One moment, please. This is not the EU5 OST at all. Oh my god. Apologies. Apologies. I almost want to start over, but then I'd be breaking a 20-minute thing. Okay, we do these in one take. And besides, even more DHEs. Here we have DHEs. Okay, here we have Candy, or let's read this guy. A son, a member of the nobles, has arrived at our court not long ago. Everything about him was completely unknown, but his name, Damar Wulan. He's served us as a stable servant, but soon the rumors of his natural beauty reached the Prime Minister's daughter. Uh-oh, and there are few fires harder to extinguish than young love. The fate that awaits him for his affront should be clear as summer day. However, he's won the favor of the court, and many see him as the proselytized savior of the kingdom. That doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good at all. And besides that, many more DHEs. Our piety is in display across the streets in Trowulan as temples and ceremony halls spring into life, a testament to our influence, affluence, and wealth. The latest complex to request funding is a peculiar concept indeed. The Brahmin in Trowulan have come forth with plans to erect a ritual purification site, a special temple. Ooh, special buildings. We like this. These extravagant constructions have drawn the ire of the common folk, however, in turn wish for the site to operate freely for them. And in turn, they wish for the site to operate freely for them as a bathing and water management facility. A sacred place. Okay, place of worship, water for the people. Let's see. Or do they not show us what happens here? Okay. A marvel in architecture prowess for the plans of the construction of expanded temple complex in Daha are well underway. According to our advisors, The building will blend different styles of elements, glorifying past rulers and accommodate our ritual needs. Dedicated to the past deeds of our greatest rulers, this religious settlement is a testament to our superior culture and celebrated history. Alright. We get the popularization of the Kakawin poems. Amidst the culture and social flourishing that our people are currently experiencing, a new prominent form of literature has surfaced. These new poems originated from the spreading of the influence of Indian epics such as the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. The spread of these foreign faiths as a side effect cultural exchanges have led to new forms of literary expression. Despite being heavily influenced by their Indian counterparts, Kakawin poems are not mere imitations or even translations, as they successfully blend local and foreign culture richness to create a mythology and storytelling. It's like Tex-Mex. Such artistic expression is surely not expressions, is surely a sign of our golden age, facilitated by the pen of people such as Trizano Supriyadi, okay, and much more. But that's all for today. Next week, we will have a bank holiday on Monday and Tuesday, so we will have the regular Tinto Talks on Wednesday and a Tinto Flavor on Friday. About Milan and Naples. Why are they... I mean, there is holidays, but they be pumping the brakes a lot. Interesting. But of course, a reminder, you can wishlist Europa Universalis 5 now. That will, of course, help out the devs and the development of the game if you are interested in it. But because that allows them more leeway and also better metrics for understanding player interests and this type of thing. But anyways, we do get to see the naval empire of Majapahit. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube algorithm thing, and other than that, have a Flavor Friday.